This is a Glitterball podcast. Before we get into today's episode, please remember I'm judging these housemates based solely off of an edit and not as total people. Please don't send them any hate, it's just a game show. It's time to unpack nominations. Face-to-face nominations. And we'll unpack the Zila Sam situation. Oh, and there's another rule break. Welcome to He's Always Watching. From Glitterball, this is He's Always Watching, a Big Brother podcast. Hello, Fishbowl friends, and welcome to another episode of your favourite Big Brother recap show. It's He's Always Watching, and we have some nominations to talk about. Face-to-face nominations, no less. Plus, we have the Sam and Zila of it all. Ugh. And we have another rule break. I think officially, this house has broken more rules than either of the last two ITV houses. Okay, maybe that's a little hyperbolic. But I feel like these guys have officially broken more rules than last year. So here we are. We have another rule break to talk about, which we'll get to before we get to nominations. We're going to talk about the Sam and Zila and the rule break of it all now. And then we're going to get into nominations. So, let's do it. I'm going to start with the thing I want to get out of the way because I'm tired of this. It's Sam and Zila. Do we need to have some level of romance or flirtation shoved down our throats at every opportunity? The answer is no. If it wasn't bad enough that we were still getting Marcus and Elsa shoved down our throats, which, to be honest, they've kind of chilled out, so I'm not so mad at seeing them kind of explore each other. I'm just grateful they've chilled out. Whereas Sam and Zila, I'm like, this is weird. You have a girlfriend. It was already weird when Zila and Fayashola were kind of orbiting each other in the way they were. And now this? Is Zila one of those people that just constantly needs some level of affection? Is that what this is? I just don't want to watch it. I don't care. And I think Sam is very much suffering from Big Brother house-itis in the sense of, I think maybe he's forgotten for the large part inside his head that there's an outside world. And I mean, I know he's made reference to the girlfriend, but this is just uncomfortable to watch to me. Like, I'm not vibing. No. Like, it's just unnecessary. And again, I know that we'll get told that it was just platonic and it was just friendly. But I'm sorry, I feel for Zila's poor girlfriend. I just feel like Sam is a bit of a lovesick puppy and I think is kind of desperate for some male attention, which, to be fair, you've been locked away from society for probably 5 or 6 weeks now when you include their prior to the show lockdown. So, you know, maybe his needs are just getting the best of him. I don't know. But I don't really think there's any excuse for this. Because you know, when it comes to Zila, that there is somebody on the outside. There has been no clear, in my opinion, sort of green light given of my girlfriend is okay if I am cuddly and affectionate and da-da-da-da-da-da with somebody in this house. So for God's sake, keep it in your pants and keep it respectful. And what we're seeing right now with both of them, I would argue, if what we're hearing is correct, of Zila lifting Sam up the way he did, and the way that Sam is talking, and indeed the interaction they have between the two of them that we saw on the show of, don't worry, you're not bottoming. It's like, oh? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, and maybe it's fine. But I don't really want to watch it. I don't care for this kind of shoehorned romance that the show seems to be enjoying doing this season. It doesn't work for me. Anyway, let's move on to the rule break, because they just can't get it together. They just can't get it together, and I don't know why they can't. I feel like these guys have officially broken more rules than last year, and I'm not sure that I thought that was possible to begin with, but here we are. They've done it. It is not that difficult. I just don't understand how they can break so many rules. You're only there for 8 weeks in total, including your lockdown prior to the show. Would you not spend lockdown reading the rules of the environment that you're about to walk into? I don't get it. How they are flouting the rules so peacefully. And look, I will give Big Brother some credit. These punishments probably still aren't harsh enough, but they're very, very, very entertaining. From Zila having his hands stuck in jam jars to now Sam being covered in honey. That was brilliant to watch. But is it harsh enough for the repeated rule breaks? Because I don't think something that is haha funny for the rest of the house is going to make them all collectively learn. I think that's an issue. I think it's a real problem that if they get to just ha 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 ha, then they're like, it's fine, rules don't matter, because that's clearly what we're seeing, and it is doing my head in. However, after the break, we are going to get into face-to-face nominations, and boy oh boy, did they get spicy. I'll see you in just a minute. Welcome back. Let's talk nominations, because face-to-face nominations is always spicy, but I think this particularly was. Not only for Caroline, but for some of the others as well. So we're going to get into it. First things first though, I want to talk about the eyeball pit of doom. I thought this was kind of interesting to make them lose eyeballs when they were nominated. Seems a little like they're still making up the eye currency thing as they go along to me, but it was still interesting nonetheless. Although I would argue, what happens if you hit no balls? Then what are you going to do? You've got nothing left to lose. Anyway, let's get on with the noms. We're going to start with the headline news, and that is, of course, Caroline. Because, surprise, surprise, not only did she nominate Richard, but she also nominated Tasia. However, I think Richard's reason is the standout one here, because apparently, according to Caroline, he's boring. Which, Caroline, just because he's not your version of fun, doesn't mean he is blanket boring. And I know we get to see a cherry-picked version of these housemates, but I would argue Richard's coming across better than most of them. And I don't see the boring that they seem to be seeing. I don't get it. I feel like Caroline is just still so agitated towards Richard for whatever reason it may be, and to be honest with you, I don't think we'll ever find out that actual reason, because I don't think she'll actually tell us. But I felt for Richard with this nomination. But back to the Tasia nomination for a second. I love the line of, "It's just my face." There are some really great moments in this nomination ceremony. We have Jenny nominating Elsa, and Elsa clapping back with there's a demon behind you. You've got Marcus turning around to Emily and being like, is all this fun, funky energy forced? A lot of these housemates did not come to play with these face-to-face nominations, which I've got to tell you, I really appreciate, because sometimes you may not get a housemate's actual proper opinion in face-to-face nominations, but I actually did feel like we got a level of honesty from a lot of these housemates. Marcus in particular surprised me with that Emily nomination. I did not expect him to be quite so blunt, given that the Marcus we generally see is quite reserved. There is just a lack of what he truly thinks, I think, sometimes. Although, speaking of Marcus, just while we're here, slight tangent on nominations, it was quite entertaining to see him be quite so bent out of shape about not getting the food when everybody else broke the rules, including you, Marcus. So therefore, no, you don't get the peri-peri chicken treat. But back to nominations, I also thought it was really interesting about Nancy and how her enthusiasm when she speaks is being taken as aggression. From what we have seen, and again, the usual caveat applies here, I don't see the aggression side. Am I enjoying Nancy? Drips and drabs, but her nominations kind of did surprise me. So she's lucky she skated by. But then, of course, we get to Farida, who got a big old pile of nominations. And you know what? I'm going to put out a conspiracy theory here, so please bear with me. Are the housemates just threatened by the fact that she's back? Is this that you already had your time is up, time to go, Farida, from the house? And I feel like it might be. I do wonder whether they are like, you shouldn't be here. Because that is kind of the energy I got from Marcus to Emily. So it honestly wouldn't surprise me if that also applied to Farida. So then, of course, we come to Caroline wielding her save and replace power. Now she had to choose from Farida, Richard and Tate. And I cannot believe I'm saying this. She saved Tate. For potentially the most gross, weird, like all of that was totally unnecessary. Although I do genuinely believe she thought she was going to be up. And I wonder whether her reaction to this game-changing playing twist may then force her to stop and think and maybe not be so eager to pick up whatever ideal mini-mart advantage Big Brother dishes out next. Because maybe she'll be like, I don't actually want to go through that again. But back to this moment with Tate. I understand that she was trying to pull reasons out of a hat, but like, we didn't need to know all of this whole sexual energy tension thing. I don't particularly care what you do outside the house, Caroline, and I didn't need a preview, thank you. But moving on to the results of this twist, now we've got that out the way. Tate was saved, and unfortunately, Zilla has joined the eviction lineup. I'm not happy about this. This is potentially the worst trio to have up for a double eviction, from what I understand, I have ever come across. This is even worse than the momentous eviction from 2023. I am not okay with this. To give you my voting predictions, given that I can't vote, if I could vote, I would be saving Richard. which unfortunately means I think Zila and Farida will be gone on Friday. This is a terrible trio to have up for a double because they all bring such life to this house. And you can see by the fact that my energy is kind of, because I feel like the house's energy is just going to sink as well. And it bothers me. Sure, Farida has been in the house before, and at least she's lasted longer than her time before. However, I feel like it's too many big characters in a double eviction. And then we're going to spend the next 2 weeks going, oh, they really sucked the fun out of there. And admittedly, the housemates are voting for who they do or don't want to live with. But as I've said previously, I feel like the British public half the time vote that way as well. However, I do not begrudge the British public this decision. I think this is the worst eviction lineup we've had in a very long time. So there you go. That is noms done and dusted for another week. Pretty fiery for face-to-face nominations, that is for sure. But with that, that is your lot for another episode of He's Always Watching. As always, if you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend and leave a 5-star rating and review on whatever podcasting app you're listening to it on, because those things really do help. You can also come over to socials at He's Always Watching Pod on Instagram and Threads, and we are Glitterball on Twitter to tell me your thoughts on the nominations and who might leave on Friday. In fact, by the time you're seeing this, there's probably a Twitter poll up that you can go and vote in right now. I am not looking forward to Friday. I do not want this double eviction to happen, but here we are. But thank you for being here. I will see you very soon to unpack all of that and whatever else Big Brother throws at these housemates over the next couple of days. So thanks for being here. I will see you very soon. In the meantime, though, remember, Big Brother's not the only one who's always watching. See you soon.